Hi, I'm Celina Pizarro. I'm in the States, if you haven't figured that out yet. Uh, How's everyone doing there? You're in Belfast, right? That's Beau- beautiful. Mm, well, real quick, usually, we have a little bit more time, but I know it's getting late there for you all. I have a similar background in the world of athletics as Lindsay does, but I come from corporate healthcare and found myself in burnout and went through my own kind of like self-discovery process after nearly dying from a piece of dried fruit. I had an allergic reaction and realized at that point my health was like super poor. So I went down a holistic rabbit hole, and that led me to the world of professional bodybuilding, which I did for 3 years, which also then led me to coaching others in health and nutrition. That's kind of where my story started. Now, fast forward to where I am now, I've since gone into more of the holistic manifestation world, being with frequency and learning how to work with energetics. I am a certified meditation and yoga instructor, as well as numerous other certifications, fitness and nutrition wise. But can I tell you a little story about how what we're going to show you works? Would you mind? Is that cool? Okay. I like to be invited in. You know what I mean? So, my first bodybuilding competition, I did all of the things. I looked the parts. All of the exercises. I lost 40 pounds. I built a bunch of muscle, and I had my purpley sparkly bikini on, ready to rock and roll with my clear heels on stage. And I got backstage and I see all of these younger women there, and they are gorgeous. And they, look the part and they look super confident. And all of a sudden, I was like, what in the hell am I doing here? I'm like 38 years old. They're all in their 20s. My daughter's out in the audience. They don't look like they've ever had a kid. You know what I mean? Eh, And I walk out on stage to do like a deer in headlights. And what do you think happened? Well, did fall. I did not fall. I didn't, but I got second to last place. And then I defaulted to last place because the last place winner didn't show up for the award. So I got defaulted to last place. And it was soul crushing. And I was like, you know what? I am going to come back here and I am going to win this thing because I am not a loser. I'm a winner. I was a corporate healthcare director and was not used to losing at much in my life. So I left that competition and I went home, and I just instinctively started envisioning myself going back on that stage, just like I promised my family, just like I promised my coach, just like I promised myself, and walking across the stage, hearing the cheer of the crowd in my sparkly purple bikini and my clear hooker heels, it with a really dark tan, because that's what you do when you're in bodybuilding competition, really dark tan, and being presented this huge trophy and walking across stage. And I could feel it. I could see it. I could smell the spray tan on me, right? And I did this every night for the 6 weeks that I went on to train between competitions. Now, my workouts didn't change, my meals didn't change, and I actually put myself into a higher level of competition. So in the bodybuilding world, there's kind of like levels. So I put myself into a higher level of competition. So when I got on stage the second time around, in my mind, I had already won 45 times, 6 times 7, like 45 times I had already won this competition, right? And I walked out there, and what do you think happened? Oh, this trophy. big, heavy trophy, right? And all of the sights, all of the smells, all of the feels, they all came true. But my point of the story is that I had already won so many times in my reality that it was a memory at that point that I was then living out in the reality. Okay. So this is what we're going to dive into. Did you have any luck with that sound, Linz?
Yeah, I think I've got it.
Okay. So, how much time do we have? Just so I know.
Probably 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to do this. It won't be rushed, but what we're going to do is talk about, Lindsay touched on it, but it's usually something that's fairly overlooked when you are talking about being a creator of your own reality, because that's what we all are. Just some of us are creating it unconsciously, right? We're making decisions. We're having, situations and opportunities come into our reality. And those choices that we make aren't always conscious. They are driven by autonomic and habitual habits. They're driven by the subconscious, those limiting beliefs that Lindsay talked about. Those are all subconscious. So we're not doing it consciously. However, we have the ability to change this. And what I'm talking about here is your frequency. Everything in the universe resonates at a specific frequency. The chairs that you're sitting on are resonating at a frequency, making it feel solid, like solid matter to you. You are resonating at a frequency. And when we adjust that frequency, which is the same thing that Lindsay was talking about, like the temperature in the room, to attract in what we want, then this is where all of that cool quantum physics stuff and people talk about collapsing time happens. This is how it works. So your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, everything is created in an energetic wave that ripples out into the world. And just like when you throw a stone into a lake and it ripples out, that same frequency then is attracting back in, communicating louder than your words ever could to the physical, but also to the vibrational world around you. Because though it appears we're living in a 3D world, we're actually living in a 5 to an 11D world. Now, I know you've all heard of 5D, right? Like fifth dimensional world. This is where you go past the matter of 3D, you add in time, that's 4D, and then you add in 5D, which is like the ethereal time, which is ever expanding, right? So your energy, if it's scattered and chaotic and misaligned, it sends out the signal to what you want that's saying, I'm not ready. It's like that old AM staticky station, like I'm not ready for more. But when your frequency is clear and aligned, it becomes magnetic, pulling in those opportunities that you really want. So if you think about this, like the room that you're sitting in, probably when you first walked in to pick out the seats that you're all in, you unknowingly or maybe knowingly felt an energetic vibe in the room based on who was already in the room. And subconsciously, you chose your seat based on that. Okay. Now, have you ever walked into a room where, it feels like you're feel uncomfortable? Or have you ever felt that? I see somebody nodding there. Yes. I'm feel that in this room because there's high vibe in this room. I'm sure you didn't feel it there, but maybe go back to like the high school lunchroom. We all felt it there, right?
Yeah, I Calvin mislead. Calvin mislead, so he felt that.
We all felt it there. But then you walk into a room where that's full of like your best friends and a song is playing that, you all relate to, and the energy and the frequency is super high. So this is what we're talking about. And I could get into like the science of frequency and all of this, but I don't think we've got much time for that. But we are diving into the alignment, going past the 3D world, using this frequency activation technique to step into the 5D. So we're talking about visualization, emotional resonance, energetic alignment and grounding practices to bring that frequency into harmony with your vision. So we're literally rewiring your energy to attract the future that you desire, because your frequency is your most powerful tool. So learning how to harness it is that shortcut that we're talking about. Your energy is always at play, whether you're aware of it or not, broadcasting out into the world. So doing this on a consistent basis, and Lindsay's going to share a link with you so that you can do it when you go home tonight and tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, so that you can build that resonance up. Because people talk about vibration and frequency. The difference with that is vibration is like in the moment. So like you're going to be real jazzed up when you leave this event, right? And then you go home and you go back into your reality, and like you go back in your routine and you kind of lose it. The difference between the vibration and frequency is what like your thermostat is all the time. It's not that spike. That's your vibration in the moment, right? So we want to get that kind of average up. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. So a couple things to think about and I'm sorry, this is like quicker than I usually go through this, but how this works. And I want you to just think about as we're going through this, this is in a perfect world. Okay. Your current restraints, your current situation, your current, like this is like if you had a magic wand. All right. It can be whatever you want. And a lot of times after this frequency, this activation technique that I'm going to walk you through, this visualization, people are surprised that what they visualize is not what they thought their future was going to look like. So we're going to see it clearly. We're going to feel it deeply, align your energy, remember your future, just like I mentioned about creating a memory of the future, what I did every night 48 times before, or whatever the math was. Before I got to the stage, I remembered the event that hadn't taken place. And then we're going to anchor it into your reality. Okay. So that's the heart of my frequency activation framework. All right. So how this works is it's binaural beats with the frequency overlaid. So binaural beats has 2 different hertz going into the right and left ear. Typically you'd wear headphones with this. And then the frequency is overlaid. So as you listen to this will help with the brain entrainment. And that then signals the body and goes into every cell of your body to raise that resonant frequency. Okay. So we're going to just start with some breaths. And we're going to do more than a relaxing breath. And I invite you all to close down your eyes and breathe in through your nose, deeply into your belly, and then sharply exhale through your mouth. So we're igniting our energy. We want a little bit of an energetic flow to happen. So don't be too shy with the frequency of this. Make it as fast and as deep as you want. This is a little bit of a Kundalini breath work. You might start to feel a little lightheaded. That's okay. Keep with it. Ten more. Now inhale deeply and exhale slowly, keeping your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine a white light expanding out from the crown of your head. And it starts to envelope your whole body. With each breath, and just allow your breath to go back to normal, it expands out at the same rate of your heart. This is your energetic field. So with each breath, it gets bigger and more expansive, filling up the room that you're all sitting in. Going beyond the room and filling up the building that you're in with this white golden light. Going up into the atmosphere, this white light is rising and expanding. And you are riding this light. We are in the expanse that is the universe, past the moon, past the sun, past the Milky Way. It is everywhere. There's no darkness. It is all white, golden light. And as you look down towards the earth, there's another bright light that you are drawn to. And you follow that light to that space, that point on the planet. And you see that it is you. But it's February 25th, 2026. So you've time traveled a year into the future. And you see yourself in a beautiful bed, in a beautiful room, and you're just opening up your eyes. You're waking up February 25th, 2026. And you smile. Because everything is right in your world. You see your partner, your spouse, or your dog with you in that room. And you just kind of take it all in, looking around, smiling, feeling the comfort of your big, luxurious bed. And you start to kind of go through in your mind your day. The people that you are going to meet, the appointments that you have, and everything is right in the world. It's spacious, it's purposeful. You have all of the money that you could ever want in your bank account. And you are so excited. And see yourself getting up, taking a big stretch and smiling and breathing in this glorious day. Maybe the sun is shining on you through a big picture window. Maybe you look out that picture window and you're on a beach, or you're on a hillside, or you're in a beautiful rolling countryside. And you put on clothing that feels so comfortable and so luxurious at the same time. And you walk out into the kitchen. And maybe your spouse brings you a cup of tea. And there is that big gold and beautiful light enveloping the whole room that you're in. How do you feel? What do you see? Do you feel gratitude? Feel grateful? Feel joyful? Excitement? Let it wash over you. Breathe it in. This is your life. You have achieved. And you see that golden light in front of you. And you start to move away from the light as if being drawn back. You're not afraid, you're not scared, you're happy, you're joyful. And you allow this golden thread to kind of pull you back. And now it's January of 2026. Notice where you are, what you're doing, and knowing the future, think about how you're going to allow this day to unfold. Maybe you're still holding your cup of tea. And you see that same white light, but it's a little bit further in front of you now. And that golden thread is pulling you back. You will allow the pull to bring you to November of 2025. And you're excited for the holidays. Maybe you sense the change in the seasons. And as you wake up in November of 2025, you envision how that day is going to unfold, knowing what you now know of the future. And you take a deep breath. And you see that white light in front of you, further ahead of you now. And that golden thread is pulling you back, and it's the summer. Well, here's the summer. It's June of 2025. You breathe in gratitude for this day. And you envision how your day is going to unfold, knowing what you know about the future. What steps are you going to take? What appointments do you have? And as you inhale, that golden light, though it's further away from you, it begins to rise up. And you feel that golden thread up the base of your spine, through the crown of your head. And now you're rising back up to that light. This light aligning your mind, your body, your emotions, and your energy with that vision. Feeling your energy expanding. You feel the pull to that bright light, pulling your vision closer and more clear with every breath. That white light is pulling you back up into the atmosphere. You take a breath in, and you plant your feet back down firmly on the planet. And it's now March of 2025. Just a few days in the future now. And knowing what you now know, having seen the future, think about how your day is going to unfold. What steps are you going to take? Who are you going to meet? Who do you want to be in your vibrational reality? And you smile. Your vision is already here. You've activated. Now it's time to bring it into your physical world. How do you feel? What emotions can you bring forward with you? What can you do to activate that memory of the future? Taking a deep breath in, one final deep breath, putting your hands on your heart, feeling the energy of the vision, anchor it into your being. Slowly bringing your awareness back to the room and back to your present body. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. You've activated the energy of your future self, aligning with your vision for 2026. So let's take this energy and move into aligning with those steps. So now that your vision is activated, I loosely invite you to create a plan. And when I say loosely, I mean we're not talking about rigid goal setting. It's about aligned, driven action. So alignment driven. You're going to receive what I call the 30-second magic movie trailer. Lindsay's going to send you the link to get it. This is a format for you to revisit that future self every night. And my suggestion to you, I can also, Lindsay, you can forward the link to the music also, so you could listen to it with headphones. But essentially, what you are going to do is you're going to write out, and fill in the blank. You're going to write out what you envision. And then you're going to play that movie trailer in your head as you're about to go to sleep. So initially, you'll read it to yourself, listening to the music. But as you do it over and over, you probably won't need to read it. You'll just play this movie trailer. And this is the movie trailer of you, of your future. We're creating a memory of the future. This can change. It can be like a sequel to the original movie trailer. It can expand. It is a living entity. Okay. So doing these daily micro alignments is the secret to staying in alignment with your vision. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less, but with intention. So I invite you to start and end your day with this 30-second magic movie trailer during that time when the veil between your subconscious and your conscious is thin, which is right upon waking and right upon sleeping. Now, can I tell you, do we have time for a quick story? Another story? You can pause the music. You can guess the music if you want. Okay. So I do this myself, right? Let me see. Do I have my own? Where is it? So here's my this is what you're gonna get, and I know you probably can't see me that well, and I apologize. So it's like this, right? So I did one of these, but I did it in my journal because I actually have a full journal that allows you to do this every night. Okay. I think Lindsay, you've got a copy of my journal, don't you?
Yeah.
The 90-day manifestation journal. Okay, so I this is probably about 3, 4 years ago. I was living in Florida and my daughter was in travel volleyball. And we were traveling for volleyball game to Orlando, which as you know has all of like Universal and all the parks, right? And I just wrote into my journal that wouldn't it be cool to bring her on like a $1.2 million vacation? I don't know why that number came in my head. I just wrote it down. And that night I started to kind of like think about like how that would look. Now, I'm not even thinking about the fact that we were going to Orlando, but because we were going on a little vacation, it came to my mind. And then I let it go. And then the next night I had a dream about it. And I don't really even remember the dream, but it, it was luxurious and all expenses paid and all of the things, right? All of the things. And this is how fast this can work. So the next day we were leaving for Orlando. So we're talking like maybe like less than 72 hours with this written down vision. And then like I envisioned it a few times. Um, so we get to the hotel. The girls go upstairs, her and her friend, to get dressed. We come in the night before and we're going to go do, like eat or do something. And I sit down at the bar waiting for them and it was packed. And I was like, this is weird. Like, why are all these people here? Because it wasn't really season. It was, I believe, in like the beginning of November, maybe not season. Anyway, I asked them, I'm like, what are you guys all doing here? And they're like, oh, we're here for a company trip. We're going to Universal Studios. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I wish I could bring my girls to Universal. They're like, well, you can't because we've rented Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure out. So it's closed to the public. And I was like, yeah, that's all right. I didn't have tickets or anything like that, obviously. And the guy was like, hold on a second. And he walks away. And I was like, okay. Comes back and he's got 3 wristbands for me. And he's like, here, take these wristbands and follow the signs. I was like, all right. Not questioning it, not, like anything. So I go upstairs to get the girls, come back, and the place is empty. Nobody there. And I was like, oh, well, like me, like, I don't know, like whatever with this guy. And my daughter is like, and I told him the story, and my daughter's like, well, there's a sign over there going into like the belly of the hotel, like underneath. And I was like, okay, just trusting the signs. So we walk down this hallway. Nobody's there. There's like one sign. So we're like, we just keep walking and walking. It's a ghost town, which is, again, weird because it was packed. So we keep walking and there's like one lady standing in the hallway really far ahead of us. So we walked to her and she was like, do you have your wristbands? And we're like, yeah, we do. And she's like, okay, go there. So we walk, like make a turn, walk to the garage, like the parking garage under the building. And there's a bus sitting there. And they were like, come on. And we're, again, the only ones on the bus. And I was like, wow, this is really weird, but okay. So I know, I mean, we lived like an hour away. We've been to Universal Studios a bunch of times. I know the area well. So we're driving on this bus and nobody says anything, And we're going down these roads and I have no idea where we're going, which is odd because I've been there a million times. And I'm like, okay, well, we're either going to have a really good time or we're going to die. Like, I don't know. And we get there and it's the back of Universal Studios and the bus door opens and there is this red carpet leading into the back of the park. And there's all of these stations as we walk up full of food and swag bags and stuff like, and like, we're just like, okay, we're just going with the flow here. We're following the red carpet. And somehow this guy that I was talking to, earlier, he comes out of nowhere and he's like, oh, you've made it. feel free to have whatever you want. All of the food in any of the restaurants is, is free. We've rented out the park and blah, 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 blah. So both parks, Universal and Islands of Adventure. And I was like, wow. And the girls take off. They go on the Harry Potter ride. Take off. And I'm like chatting with this guy. We're walking around. I'm like, so how much does it cost to rent out these parks for, there's only a couple hundred, people in the company. It was a very large home improvement company that owns like you guys don't know. Home Depot is like a big box store. They own that. Anyway, he said, what do you think? He said, how much it costs? What company?
One more, yeah. What are the bananas? Yeah.
1.2 million. So yes, it wasn't like I received 1.2 million, but we were invited into $1.2 million with no resistance, with just being open to the possibility and following the signs. This is how this kind of thing can work for you. Repetition and being open to that energetic alignment. Okay. So let's, celebrate the progress along the ways, like recognizing the little signs, no matter how small they are. And no matter if it's one lady in an empty hallway, celebrate those little signs that the universe is sending out to you. And if you're not sure, ask the universe to provide the signs. Just like my daughter was like, there's the sign. Ask the universe, where are the signs? Okay. And you can sustain your vision. And with these daily micro alignment activities, like asking for the signs and celebrating the signs to keep that frequency and keep your activation going. All right. So I do have a full 4-part activation series where we go through energetic alignment, clarity, abundance, future vision casting, and much more depth. Lindsay's got a code for you guys to get it half off if you're interested. But keep the momentum going and just know that your vision, your vision of the future is already yours. It's already activated. All you need to do is step into alignment with it. And the faster that you do that and hold it there, the quicker it's going to come to you, that collapse of time. So I believe in all of you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me here. And please do fill out the form that Lindsay's going to send you. You'll get an email back and it'll have a link to the form tonight. Like, hold that vision. Don't lose it. Okay?